All right, welcome back, folks. As you can see, outside today, we'll have the nice soundtrack of nature and dogs and cars going by, but that's how it is. Uh, it is gorgeous. But I wanted to find a book in my collection that sort of is something I was excited about, and then as time went on and as opportunities came and went, I got less and less excited about. And I'm sure we've all had that happen to us, where we get something or we have something in our collection, in our library of games, board games, books, role-playing games, whatever it is. And then the opportunity to experience it comes and then passes without having done anything. And then the next time, you're just slightly less excited about doing it because you didn't get to do it the previous time. And then a little worm of thought finds its way in. And for me, it goes, well, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it, because if I wanted to play it, I would have already played it. This is one such book for me. And it is something that is, I've read through it, I've sat down and I formulated the rules for my family to play. We brought it on vacation, had an opportunity to play it, and it just didn't work out. It just didn't work out. Due to external factors, right? Like nothing to do with the game, maybe. But I'm going to tell you the story of Jim Henson's Labyrinth, the adventure game. I don't remember how long ago it was when I purchased this thing. But it is exactly what you think. It is the Labyrinth Adventure Game. Without kind of going through the entirety of like the rules and everything like that, that's not what this is about. It's a 2d6 system where you take on the role of either a human or various other creatures that are native to the labyrinth. And there is a goblin king who is sort of in charge of the labyrinth and its doings, and in charge of the scenarios and the adventure as a whole. It is all about coming up with cool ways to solve solutions. It's a very old school mindset of the stats and the narrative don't necessarily define the moment that the players have. If the rogue really wants to try to brute strength his way through the door because it seems interesting, then make the roll happen, right? And just make it really difficult, right? And it's really, that's what it comes down to. There are goblins, there are fireys, there's humans, the knights of yore, and there's a horned beast and a worm, among others. And I guess you can create your own creatures. And then you use, what's really cool is that this book came with 2 dice, 2d6, and that's all you need. And I've used these before. They're really cool d6s with the little owls on the ones. I thought that was kind of cool. The art in this book is phenomenal. I'm going to go to the credits page here because I'm going to muck up all this stuff. There's just lots of art. And the rules were written by Jack Caesar, and most of the adventures are written by Ben Milton of Questing Beasts, actually. And what's really cool is that the dust jacket comes off, and then you have the Labyrinth book. Those of keen eye will notice how this looks like a certain book in the movie. What I like about this whole presentation, if you will, is that how authentic it feels. You know, you are experiencing the labyrinth as you would have if you were playing the game in the world of the labyrinth. And what's really cool is that there are various zones in the labyrinth that the players need to go through. And then if they succeed, they go further down the path and find another scenario to discover. And then as they succeed and fail, they can go forward or go back and then try a different route. But the books are, the book is segmented into 2-page spreads. And this is the one of the helping hands, right? Where you come up against the helping hands and then you try to solve the solution. You try to solve the current problem. Then there's another one called the Land of Stench, where there's a role for the Goblin King and the various things that can happen. And these are all 2-page spreads that sort of showcase things that can happen in the labyrinth. And the one thing that I got so excited about is that how easy it would be just to flip to a random page and use it as an adventure, a sole adventure for whatever game that you want. You don't necessarily have to use these rules at all. You just use the thread that is the adventure scenarios in this book. For example, one of the first ones that you come across is there are these chapter scenes, and between each of the various scenes you get these nice 2d6 tables of things that can happen, basically random encounters. And I like this as a way to sort of flesh out a string of scenarios, so it doesn't feel scenario to scenario, but things happen along the way, which are kind of cool. And they then, in of themselves, can become important story beats. Like we got, I'm just going to roll 2d6. I got a 3 and a 5. So 3 and 5 would be staircases. So there's staircases that they're, maneuvering over. And then an encounter. We got 4, then 3. A dwarf repairing some clockwork mechanisms beneath the flagstones on the staircase. And what kind of weather is happening right now? We got 6, light summer rain. So we already have a scene, a place, and the environment all set up for the players to engage in. Now, what is special about this dwarf? Don't know. It's something that we can roll up later, and I like that. But like the first thing that you come across is the gatekeepers, and there is a way to choose a door to go through, and there are ways to words are failing me today, I recognize. But the labyrinth is spread out before you, crawling over the hills surrounding the Goblin King's castle. Descending the slope, you are confronted by a wall, beyond which lies the labyrinth's first ring, the maze of stone corridors you glimpsed from the hilltop. A square stoned pond filled with brackish water lies nearby. No openings or gates can be seen, no footprints mark the sandy earth. So you have these options here, and depending on which door that you go through, which door that you are capable of going through, kind of dictates how successful you are. And then you kind of roll a die, and the die sort of dictates how far along that you go through. So the higher the die roll, the further that you go before you run into some trouble. So if you roll really well, you can go through less adventure or less scenarios before you get to the final fight, which is always within the castle and you face the Goblin King. And I mean, look at this art. This art is just phenomenal in this book. But like, there is so many cool little like moments here in the book that sort of helps you as both the player and the person running it. So someone as a soloist, myself, could use this book to just fully encompass a campaign of some sort. Just use a different rule set, or use just some simple oracles and some basic stats from a different game, and then use the scenarios here to create yeah, like there are these so many cool things. Like there's these chapter scenes, and then there are always different sort of encounters, random encounters for each of the circles. So there's the stone walls. There's I think the Goblin City is next after that. Yeah, stone walls, hedge maze, the land of yore, Goblin City, the castle, and then those are the 5 regions of the labyrinth, and they each get increasingly more complex and stuff. But yeah, I guess I just wanted to wax poetic about this a little bit. This is definitely going to be a rambling episode. Yeah, there's an idea of progression and discovery about this game that I really liked. And like I said, I got to a couple of points while I had it in my possession. Well, still have it, but when I was actively reading it, that I was able to present it to my family to play. We just never got to it. And then the longer it sat on my shelf, the less I thought about playing it. And then I moved on to other things like we all do, and then it just sat there. And then this morning, you know, outside of thinking I didn't want to go to the festival that my family went to because I wanted to spend time outside, I figured, let's grab a book and read it. And then the Labyrinth was staring at me. Now, I didn't pick it out the first. I was going to wax poetic about Blade Runner a bit, but I didn't read the core rule book all the way through, so I didn't feel like I was capable of parsing much of the information outside that I liked the Blade Runner universe, and I liked the movies, and I liked the game, but that's about it. I wouldn't have been able to talk about the characters in the book or how the book was written or anything like that. Then I pulled out a Starforged supplement that I was going to talk about, and then I figured, nah, I don't really want to do that. And then my brain just went, just pick out the Labyrinth book. Just take it out, sit down out here, and talk about this GD book. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah, I had created a really cool sort of day-night cycle traits and flaws sort of page for my Goblin King, because I was the Goblin King. And what was really cool is that you track the number of hours, and the adventure has a set time limit. Just like in the movie, there was a set time limit in the game, or in the movie, that oh geez, Jennifer, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but her, that character had a number of hours to save her son, or save her brother Toby. And what's funny is, side note, I wanted to get the family into the game a bit, or to understand some of the creatures and the lore and stuff. So I sat them all down and I watched the Labyrinth with them. And after we got done watching it, my wife was like, "This is a bad movie." My eldest said, I don't get it. And my youngest, he was the most amenable to the idea of playing, mostly because he likes playing role-playing games with the family. but he also said he didn't get it. I guess because I grew up watching it, I got it, and it's both nostalgia, plus it hits that I get to play a game with my family, plus it's a tabletop role-playing game, adventure game. There's dice involved, there's a lot of things that are part of what I like about the hobby are in the game, and I thought it would be family friendly, which it is. It's a very family friendly system, very family friendly game. I just wish that I had some experience of playing it under my belt. And what I think I want to try to do, and there's lots of things that I want to do in this hobby, but the energy is fleeting at best lately, mostly because, I mean, I'm spending a lot of time outside. There's a fire pit right there that we have every couple of nights. I'm outside grilling most of the afternoons for dinner, and then I end up spending a lot of time lounging on the deck, staring off into this view right behind me. It's really hard to go inside when it's that nice out. So, time to sit down and play inside, it just doesn't happen. I get a few sessions in from time to time. Between the last time that I recorded something and now, I started to play a solo 4 Against Darkness game, but I found that I like that game better with my friend BJ. Me and him have been playing online for quite a number of years now. I think I've mentioned it in passing a few times, where I had in a Prep is Play video discussed tearing down one game and then setting up another. Maybe one day I'll go into more about the story on what we've been doing with that game, and the Evils of Ilmire book and the adventure and how we have been utilizing it. But right now, I just want to enjoy outside and get inspired, I guess, eventually. But I think that's all I have for today, because I feel like I'm just rambling even more aimlessly than I normally do. And I think that's all I have to say about the Labyrinth, the adventure game, written by Ben Milton and Jack Caesar, among others, and the art by Brian Froud. I think he was originally involved with the Labyrinth as well. I can't remember exactly, but I think he was. And the wind is picking up, so I think I'll take that as my cue to pack things up and kind of put everything in away. And I guess for the sakes of the YouTubes, I will say adieu for now, and until next time, folks, I'll see you on the flip side. Peace.